Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, very happy to be home after my long journey. This is HeroQuest, and everything you see here was obtained at the Avalon Hill booth at Gen Con 2025. Now I say everything you see here, but I'm really only talking about these three things and this thing. The hands I was born with, and they are a bit battle damaged from engaging in vine pulling activities at home. We'll try to keep them out of the frame. Definitely lost some body points there. The neoprene mat used as the backdrop is not HeroQuest related, and these wonderful village houses were actually obtained at my local dungeon tree because, stay humble, Dread on the Horizon is the physical manifestation of Online Quest 004. Before we get too much further into this, I want to say that this isn't a flex, this is a good look at everything that I was able to acquire from the Avalon Hill booth as far as it was HeroQuest related. But as you've no doubt noticed, and if you haven't, you're about to find out, these are items that are sadly being turned around and sold on eBay. Now, plenty of people will be like, Ash, let people do what they want. It's fine. I can sell my stuff if I want to. Give me $50 for the adventure design kit. But I mean, no, get out of here with that. You weren't given this stuff just to turn around and make a profit off of it, you silly grifter. I'm not going to do that. I took one thing of each. Actually, I did get a second Rat and Candle poster because I needed a second one to get signed. But never mind any of that. I'm keeping everything you see here. Now, of course, if you're browsing eBay or Morcar or whatever and you see something and you decide that it's worth it and it's for your collection, I'm not going to shame you as the consumer because you get to decide what your money's worth. But this is the HeroQuest Adventure Design Kit. It's a pad of blank sheets replete with everything you need. I said blank, but I meant like the quest maps are blank. Replete with everything you need to build your own quests in both the classic HeroQuest style as well as the First Light board. It's really nice. It's kind of oversized almost. I don't know about you, but I do wish that this could come out as part of a commercial collection, something that would actually be available in stores. I'm not saying it should be offered by itself, but I do think that there is merit in having a product designed around this concept, this pad of sheets, maybe even a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. Print them off, bind them together, and get ready to ship them media mail. Next up, the Rat and Candle presents Lance Luthentol, the Pensive Bard, performing his one-man show, The Legend of Rogar the Barbarian. He's no Detzlaff, but he'll do. On the other side, we get a funsies little menu, the Rat and Candle Tavern's menu. On tap, we can get Ogre Grog for 1 GP. That's 2 frothy mugs for the price of 1. Just don't overdo it if you're saving the realm tomorrow. Or Heroic Brew for the low, extremely low price of 2 GP. Almost makes you wonder if it's really Heroic Brew. Puts a spring in your step as you're drinking it, thinking, man, this tastes way more hoppy and a lot less alcoholic than I thought it would. Just remember, if it's written in the menu as such, rules as written dictates that's actually the effect you'll have, given unto your hero in the next quest. I'm talking nonsense. Kitchen specials include mutton and carrot stew. When our staff smells it simmering, everyone wants a bite for 3 GP. Rosemary chicken, leg, and potatoes. Hot and hearty, warm your belly tonight, adventure come morn. For the low price of 8 GP, previously it was 6. I see tariffs affect everything these days. And fried soybean curd on a stick. Druids gotta eat too. 6 GP. When soybean curd costs more than mutton, you know that they're exploiting the vegans. House rules. Absolutely no casting ball of flame, fire a Roth, or the like inside the restaurant. This place is built like a tinderbox. You gits trying to roast us all, and there it is. There it is. You gits. We are having maybe a quasi-reference to the overall Warhammer universe here at the Rat and Candle. If you wanted to consider modern HeroQuest as being completely, totally apart from Warhammer, as you probably should, then this would merely come off as the defined word that already exists. Just because somebody calls somebody else a git, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily Warhammer related. We do fight a few orcs and goblins at the tavern in the initial quest for Crypt of Perpetual Darkness, and I don't think any of those goblins or orcs that we're smashing the skulls of put together this menu. But I just thought it was brilliantly placed. It was a really fun word to find on a HeroQuest Avalon Hill official document. Swords stay sheathed unless someone says something about your mother, your lady, your feller, or your hairline. No refills for spilt ale. If you can't keep it in your mug or your mouth, pay for another or take your leave. And that is the Rat and Candle Tavern menu and poster. Penultimately, we got this GM screen. This is pretty cool. I saw the Avalon Hill folks taking it and placing it in front of their mentor screen as sort of like an overlay. So you've got these nice little cutouts all around. And yeah, you could probably argue that they could make this into a retail thing too. I don't know what kind of demands there would be for it, because it is Crypt of Perpetual Darkness exclusive. I mean, there's a lot of rune writing all over this thing, but they're all the names of the Crypt of Perpetual Darkness quests. On the back here, we have some really cool art of a Dread Warrior, kind of confirming that we've got the undead just wearing armor, perhaps fused to their skin and bones. And then we've got this just terrifying Dread Sorcerer, basically a Tomb King. The text actually reads, because I was able to parse everything after a little bit of careful study, "When the black light of the new moon shines upon the great rock, the entrance will appear." Down here we have, as I said, all of your quests from Crypt of Perpetual Darkness, with the actual Crypt of Perpetual Darkness being right here, pointing to this spot here. So if you want a map, basically, of everything that you're doing, that's pretty much official, Avalon Hill published product, this could be a great resource just to have as sort of part of the meta, not even really gameplay affecting in any way. The Tomb of Hate makes an appearance, Taijit Shalax, the Sunken City of Bulbulhexia, a very cool thing to have. Definitely something that I'm probably just going to keep in my Crypt of Perpetual Darkness box, unless we're playing that campaign, and then I'll pull it out and overlay it with my HeroQuest screen. Alright, so this is kind of why everybody's here. This is Online Quest 004, Dread on the Horizon in corporeal form, with its own body and everything. This is a 2-page quest that we can obviously see is going to be part of the Online Quest collection, and it is the greatest clue, the biggest breadcrumb, a breadcrumb so big it's practically an entire sandwich with cheese in the middle, maybe a little bit of Miracle Whip if you're of a refined culture like myself, that Wizards of Morcar is coming. Lots of folks were looking for an announcement from Avalon Hill at Gen Con in 2025 to get that Wizards of Morcar fix, that Wizards of Zargon potential. We still don't entirely know what the quest would be called, what the campaign would have as its official title. But going into the Avalon Hill booth at Gen Con, you would definitely see the presentation of Joe Manganiello's dragon statue and the Crypt of Perpetual Darkness and everything that was presented there, and you would know in your soul that there was no way they were going to steal Joe's thunder. They were not going to have an announcement that would overtake all of the celebration that they have for Crypt of Perpetual Darkness being pushed to retail. It just wasn't going to happen. It would have been bad business. Bad marketing, kind of confusing. Look at this product. This is what we want to show you. Having said that, I do think that the people behind the scenes at Avalon Hill, and probably a lot of the ones that I met, are just pure genius in how they handled stuff like this, because this was the mathematical correct way to drop this breadcrumb in this preview of an online quest. We don't have Wizards of Morcar anywhere on here, but we do have a character mentioned in Wizards of Morcar. That's right, the final classic expansion, the UK and EU exclusive. It's kind of a stretch for the word exclusive. It covers quite a broad range of territory. The non-US, non-Japan, non-Brazil, there's no succinct way to say it. Wizards of Morcar must surely be making a reappearance very soon, and I would venture to guess at this point that we'll probably get the announcement at Essen this year. I can't imagine Avalon Hill not having some kind of reveal after dropping this sandwich on us. This mentions the character none other than Grawshak, called here an Orc Warcaster. Grawshak is this fellow right here. And we know this because Grawshak is one of the 4 Wizards of Morcar. Grawshak is accompanied by Barosh the Stormmaster, Fanrax the Malicious, and Zanrath, High Mage of Sarako. Now, a note before we look at the contemporary quest, which is not a quest that's from Wizards of Morcar, but looks to be designed as more of a bridge from whatever game that you're playing now to get into Wizards of Morcar, an introduction, if you will, with plenty of foreshadowing. Wizards of Morcar mentions against the Ogre Horde, specifically Festral, one of Chaos's generals. Festral is being punished in the opening text here by the 4 Wizards of Morcar, the 4 powerful sorcerers. We must report the failure of your plan to raise the Ogre Horde against the Empire. Once again we were routed by his accursed champions, and once again we were forced to flee. I am aware of your failure, Festral, but as in all things I have learned from my failures. Firstly, I have learned not to underestimate the Emperor's heroes. Secondly, I have learned not to rely on fools. Wizards of Morcar is unlike any of the other expansions in HeroQuest for a variety of reasons, but the chief reason that I will bring up now is that it signifies an all eyes of Zargon now turned towards the champions themselves narrative. Something that says, I've seen this before, I've seen these guys. And HeroQuest need not be a single party of only 4 champions. It could be several groups of champions, but they all have the same treatment from the Empire or the Realm. They all have the same help from Mentor. After all, it's very rare to be able to play through an entire campaign of HeroQuest with the same 4 characters and not suffer any deaths at all. I mean, you're likely to suffer some complete total party kills, but that doesn't need to mean that the narrative itself shifts or changes in any way according to the canon. So this context works either way. Zargon now has given his full attention to the champions of the Empire, of the Realm, of Mentor. This is personal now. This is about the enemy not underestimating the heroes, not standing there giving a rousing monologue about what his plan was going to be all along and his grand vision while the heroes sneak out of their trappings, sneak up behind him and stab him many times. So that was a lot of ado, so without further of that ado, let's get into the Dread on the Horizon quest. A familiar crackle in your mind signals to you that the good wizard Mentor is using his far voice spell to contact you regarding something important and likely urgent. Heroes, I must call on you for aid once more, as my scouts have spotted what can only be an omen of dread on the horizon. Amethyst-hued clouds have bloomed over the ruins of a tower overlooking the World's End Mountains. The tower was once occupied by Grawshak, an orc war master, and one of the Dark Lord Zargon's most formidable lieutenants of dread magic. Grawshak has, however, recently abandoned his post, traveling south in pursuit of ambitions unknown. Pray take your leave and investigate this matter, but steel yourself for unseen peril. Uncover who or what has taken root in the tower, and eradicate it before it becomes an even graver threat. Note that the orcs and goblins in this quest are all undead. Tell the heroes this whenever orcs or goblins are encountered, and aside from having 0 mind points, their statistics are unchanged. We've got a grammatical error here. There's no past tense version of the word abandon. Grawshak has abandoned his post. Gotcha. Throughout this quest, Mentor will use his far voice spell to communicate with the heroes. Is this the heroes' first quest together? Don't have them take up arms with strangers. Ask the heroes to introduce themselves to Mentor and each other. Heroes may simply read the back of their character card or share the name and backstory of the character they have created. So this is a lovely introduction to the game of HeroQuest, as well as being its own little standalone piece of the overall lore, the picture that is being painted by Avalon Hill these days. And it is a very simple and short quest. It only uses 9 rooms of the quest board. It only has 1 short corridor. We do have a variety of traps, and we have A through E quest notes, as well as some secret doors and 2 points marked X. But Ash, where are the quest notes? That's a great question. They are actually on the back of this document. It could definitely be formatted to fit on 1 page if we had the traditional map taking up the top half, and then this a bit more shrank down. I think the rest of our notes could be arranged such to put them in the bottom, but I don't think we're going to see this version of a quest in a quest book, so none of that really matters. All of our other online quests are also breaking kind of the design convention by being bigger and providing more narrative. As you ascend the moss-covered staircase leading to the tower's entrance, you notice that the entryway has long collapsed, burying the front door with its crumbling remains. Perhaps there is another way in, Mentor goads, and this must be the wreckage that they're talking about. Definitely not a common use of the brick tile here, representing that something has caved in already when you get there and then giving some narrative. I love that. This will doubtless be the Goomba that kills so many of first-timers Marios, so to speak. The ceiling in this room is partially collapsed, obscuring the floor with ancient rubble, and you smell something wrong, simultaneously rotted and gaseous, and potent enough to make you take shallow breaths. What it is, we don't know yet. We go into room C, populated by 2 undead goblins and an undead orc. The orcs and goblins before you are no ordinary foes. Their skin sags from their skeletons, torn in various places as if it was made of thin fabric. All color has been leached from the monsters' faces and bodies, leaving them an ashen gray. They turn as you enter the room, and as they spot you, their milky eyes suddenly emit an angry red light. They begin to shuffle toward you. The first hero to search for treasure here finds a longsword exactly as described in the armory and a well-made leather scabbard worth 40 gold coins. We don't need no stinking scabbards, we sell those. Keep the Empire's scabbard economy thriving. At this point, we are able to make our way into the northeast corner of the southeast quadrant, avoiding traps and going into the corridor. There is one secret door in the corridor and no other threats, but you'll probably go into room D first, where you will find, as you enter the room, your gaze immediately settles on a statue of a gargoyle whose lifeless eyes seem to bore a hole into your soul. Fear not, Mentor interjects. While gargoyles are fearsome enemies indeed, brought to life by dread magic and protected by nigh unpierceable skin of stone, this one appears to just be a statue. Gotcha. Goofed ya, heroes. The treasure chest is rigged with a poison dart trap, and heroes who search for treasure before it is disarmed will lose 2 body points. It is filled with worthless weathered bones that bury a single vial of holy water, exactly as it is described in the armory. Well, that's interesting. That's all we can do here, so now we move into the hallway, search for secret doors, and enter the next room of, this time, 1 undead goblin, 2 undead orcs. This will be the second skirmish in this map, and it's only slightly increased in difficulty by replacing one of the goblins with an orc. We then move into room E. Both doors marked X are already open. Place out the rooms they lead to, and read the following to the heroes. This means we have now a dread sorcerer as well as 2 undead goblins and 1 undead orc. A cloaked undead figure stands at an oaken desk, its bony fingers pressing a wax seal onto a scroll. It turns to you and hisses a foul greeting, letting the stamp clatter onto the desk. Caution, heroes, Mentor whispers into your mind. While Salvoyans are powerful healers in life, they are equally powerful dread sorcerers in death. Not even Lore Tome can tell the powers that Grawshak has likely bestowed upon this one, but I fear we will find out imminently. The Salvoyant, Dread Apothecary, who is undead, has the dread spells Ball of Flame and Fear, has 8 movement, 3 attack, 3 defend, 3 body, and no mind points. The first hero to search for treasure in this room will find half of a shattered Philosopher's Stone, worth 100 gold coins, and unearth the Wizard's Cloak artifact. When the Salvoyant and any other active monsters are defeated, the heroes may end the quest or continue to search the tower. There are no other notable rooms in this tower, nothing else with a quest note attached, so they might as well end it and get the narrative unless they want to go around searching for treasure, in which case I actually do not see a wandering monster clause anywhere on this document, so I suppose the wandering monster can just be whatever. We have some unthreatened movement ruling here, so if there are no monsters active on the board, heroes can move unimpeded. Instead of rolling for movement, they may treat each movement die as if they rolled a 4. If a hero has 2 movement dice, they can choose to move up to 8 squares. If their movement is reduced to 1 die, they can choose to move up to 4 squares. And for a greater challenge, allow the Salvoyant to use the Summon Undead spell immediately as you place the room. For a lesser challenge, do not place the X doors or the contents of those rooms. If the players found the holy water in room D, alert them that it is an effective weapon against the Salvoyant. I love this slightly harder, slightly easier path that the game can let you take here. This was well designed. What is the Wizards of Morcar in the contemporary HeroQuest game? How would this play out? Because we know that there is so much that could be added to it and needs to be added to it, what with the small count of 5 quests in the official classic Wizards of Morcar campaign. And that is the following quest note. My lord, I am not the one you seek for the trials that lay ahead. For my daughter's pride and fortitude are unmatched. Nyashak will be the one to answer your summons, and she will not disappoint. I expect the punishment for this impertinence to be swift, but that is a burden I am willing to bear. Grawshak. Who is Nyashak? Daughter of the Orc Shaman? A term that I see is not being used in our contemporary version, but someone who is more powerful than Grawshak. Will we be seeing the children of all of the Wizards of Morcar in this re-release? Are we seeing a hearkening of our older quests and then a continuation? How does this change how Wizards of Morcar is presented and expressed to us in a modern format? Grawshak is, as his letter states, giving up, bowing out, saying, I'm not good enough. Will Nyashak, his more powerful daughter, actually have more powerful stats? And will she take his place in Grawshak's quest, Lair of the Orc Shaman? Grawshak was already pretty powerful in terms of the UK and EU body points convention. He has all 6 Orc Shaman spells, 7 move, 5 dice for attack, 5 dice for defend, 7 mind points, and I think 4 body points. It's been a minute since I've seen one of these tracks, but maybe 5. There's a lot to talk about here, and a lot to think about, a lot to speculate over. I'll gather my thoughts and we will return for a Wizards of Morcar speculation special as we get ready to close the door, or the book, or at least turn the page, from Joe Manganiello's Crypt of Perpetual Darkness. We've still got an unboxing that needs to happen, and that will happen soon-ish. But for now, brave heroes, I bid you farewell and have a great rest of your journey. Until next time, onward!